When all of time and space is threatened, one hero is enough. Many will answer the call. They are the legends of tomorrow. And who else is worthy to tell the tale of the podcast tomorrow? Hello and welcome, everyone. I am, of course, your host, the illustrious Zachary here. And with me, as always, is Charlie Esser.
Hello.
Yeah, so
let's talk about the Legion of Doom, named after a popular Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Wah, 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 cha.
Yep.
You know what's funny about that? Is that suggests that there was a Hanna-Barbera, because there wasn't a Justice... Well, actually, you know what? No, there might have been a Super Friends based on the Justice... Oh, they have to do that now. They have to have, like, a Justice Society cartoon, but done in the style of the Super Friends, with the old Justice Society that we've already seen.
They've never really done anything with them. Not weirdly enough. I don't think they... I mean,
just
think
as a premium for the fans, you know? Because you do that cheap... Adult Swim animation, and just have them sold.
Oh, you mean doing the classic style?
Yeah, exactly. They got it. They have to do a Super Friends, but instead of the Super Friends, it's the heroes of Earth. Our Man, Captain Steel, Captain Midnight, and why am I blanking on the name of the one female character all of a sudden?
From this one, because
Vixen and Vixen.
Yeah,
they need to do that. That would be so awesome. And then you have they're fighting the Legion of Doom, and it's all like Nazis.
They do the original roster, but because this, I don't care. You can call these guys the Legion of Doom all you want. I mean, does 3 really count as a Legion?
No, they are in no way a Legion of Doom. They are at best a trio of annoyance.
When you got one meta and 2 guys who are essentially the same person.
Yeah, pretty much. 2 guys who, but of course, this is what I'll say. This is my complaint about the entire Arrowverse, because it's the Arrowverse. Archers are Batmen, and they can beat anyone because they just plan ahead.
Although here's something. He's recruiting villains that want to change their past. Why hasn't he recruited Slade, Wilson, Deathstroke?
They cost money. And he's also tied up in the film rights. So,
Oh, God, that's why. You're right.
What, you didn't realize that? No. The actual reason why he grabbed these guys actually has nothing to do with that. They wanted to change their past. Everybody wants to change their past, or everybody wants to change their future. Everybody wants to change something. He grabbed these guys because these were the guys that he felt he could exploit at that point in history where he was. Without... I guess if he had grabbed, Captain Nazi or something, that might have caused too much disruption to the time stream, which would have brought the Black Racer to him. By the way, I'm calling him the Black Racer. I know he's not officially the Black Racer, but that's who I want to call him now, because he's...
That sounds like what a racist would call Usain Bolt.
Well, no, the Black Racer is a character in DC Comics, I'm sure you know.
I know.
He has skis. And he's one of the one of Kirby's creations, not the Eternals, but the Tomorrow People, are they called? Or
you'd have to ask Phil. He knows more DC than I do.
Yeah.
But they did do one thing with Eobard that I liked when Eobard threatened him out, and because this is the thing I've been waiting for. Because and they did address it this episode. As much as I can't stand these 2 villains, there still are arc villains, so the fact that they have another villain just push him around, it's like he's like strangle him, and Malcolm's just like, whatever.
Yeah, well, of course, because they have no loyalty, and of course, and this is the thing. I mean, we get very little of the legends this episode. This is very much a Legion of Doom centric episode, where they, if we want to just jump to the vault scene, we can do that.
But I'm with Sarah. I don't think they should be called the Legion of Doom.
No, well, they're not. They're. You know what? It is the shoddiest of fan service that they're giving us. I mean, for goodness sakes, if they really wanted to call it the Legion of Doom, they could have at least had Toyman in here. There's a lot of.
They had Toyman and Supergirl.
It could be Earth 43's Toyman.
No, this is Earth Prime.
Well, yeah, sure it is.
This is Earth Prime. Okay.
Ooh, does that mean that we're going to see Superboy Prime eventually?
Well, it's Earth 1. They didn't call it Earth Prime. Yeah. But now, here's the thing. This is a time travel show, and yet they do something that's completely – they keep – like, when they go back to Eobard's whatever the heck that place is, it says present day. I'm like, isn't that kind of relative in a time travel show?
Yeah. Well, none of it makes – we've established it doesn't make a lot of sense. What I can say about it, yeah, it is relative, because there is no present day, because the future, I guess we're going to assume if they say present day, that means 2016.
Yeah.
Which means it's our present day.
Although, here's one thing. How could Dark possibly know about that tooth?
Know about what?
The tooth.
Oh.
Thing. Could he, so all this time Rick's tooth has just been glowing?
No, because he's League of Assassins.
Oh,
and they're all Batmen.
Yeah. I didn't realize they had tooth sensing abilities.
No, they just know because this is not the first time traveler they've faced. Because reasons. Because it makes for a convenient story.
It just makes absolutely zero sense that he knew he just happened to take out a tooth that had secret information on it.
The obvious point is that he knew that was the tooth that would have it. I'm not saying that, like I said, I'm not in any way saying this is all reasonable or logical. I'm just saying, clearly the implication is that the League of Shadows, League of Assassins, whatever they're calling themselves this week, that they have dealt with time travelers, they've dealt with the time masters, they've dealt with all of these things before, and they've come out on top because they're Batman.
Then why didn't Malcolm know about it? Because Damian has been a member of the League for quite some time.
Yeah, but Malcolm, I guess Malcolm didn't study that part.
He didn't study the hidden, taking out the right tooth in the
He didn't. No, here you go. Damian Dark is obsessed with hidden lore. So he studied all the hidden lore of the League where he
about teeth.
About everything, okay?
No, dude, you will not convince me that it makes any sense that he knew to take out the tooth.
It makes sense if you imagine that there's a way that it could make sense. And
if you say
there must be, here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say, because I don't want to label this forever. If you say there must be a reason why this makes sense, you can find a reason why it might make sense. If you say there's no reason for it to make sense, well, no, clearly there's no reason for any of it to make sense. But if you want to find a reason, you can create a reason. You can create a reason why Damian Dark, who is the lore-obsessed one, might have studied the tomes that said how to deal with bad guys from the future when you meet one. Whereas Malcolm Merlin, who is maybe much more a skills guy, never really bothered with that because he just wanted to kill people right now. He wasn't worried about the larger strategic planning of it, He knows how to kill a speedster and to stop a speedster. That's as much lore as he needs. He doesn't need to know that Time Masters keep, their third molar with all their personal information if they should ever need it, I'm just saying you can rationalize it if you want.
Well, we shouldn't because it's bull, just like most of the writing in the show. So anyway, moving on. Okay, could someone explain to me how another thing? Lily has never met Jax.
Has she prior to this moment?
She said, "I've never." No, she was like, I'm fine with Jax acting because obviously she wouldn't.
No. Okay, so again, it's if you want it to make sense, what you have to understand is that Jax is a relatively new addition to Stein's life. Because Jax is new to Stein's life, maybe, and he hasn't shared the fact that he is, has Jax met Stein's wife before Legends?
Wait a minute. Jax has met Clarissa.
In Legends or in another show?
I'm pretty I'm not sure I'm pretty sure Jax has met Clarissa.
Okay.
Or was it? I'd have to go back and check. No,
I'm not sure he has. That's my point. I'm not sure.
I'd have to check, but I think she has. I'd have to. One thing about it though is this whole. I like this actress. I like the character. I think she should become a regular part of the show, or at least if she's in Central City, she needs to join Flash. She'd be a good tech. Although another tip, but whatever. My point is that this shoehorn. It feels like a shoehorn storyline because they keep they're not addressing. It's like Stein was like, they don't address how much, if Stein has remembered everything yet, if his memories have, or if has it hard. I'm thinking what they might do is they might have a storyline later in the season where she might get erased.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you have two ways to handle this character. One is that you erase her, which makes for a great emotional arc, where she has to rewrite out. Basically, you have to write out the first season of Legends, essentially reset everything so that the universe doesn't get destroyed, kind of thing. And so everybody's history gets erased, and Stein's like, "No, don't." And she's like, "I'm the only one that can do it. It's okay. It's if the universe survives, that's what's important." That whole thingadoodle. Or
the scenes in the bank were just painful.
Yeah, or the other option is that Lily just stays on the ship and becomes a new Time Master.
Right. So, actually, that would be a good way to. But
that's like the easiest thing to do, because that way you don't have a sad ending. But if you want that dramatic pathos, then you have to. Then that's what she does: is she writes herself out of existence. But other than that, she just becomes a new Time Master because she can't go back to history because she never existed. But so long as she's on the ship, she can be this anomaly that disappeared, and it doesn't disrupt the time stream.
So from there, like, we see Damien and Malcolm breaking in the bank, and that it's just painful.
Yeah,
it's trying to turn into a comedy duo.
Well, I mean, have they really not been up until this point? I mean, not for nothing. They kind of are the comedy relief. Honestly, everything in this show is kind of comedy relief.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I'm not saying it is. I'm saying the whole thing is pretty weird. Anyway, but so they break into the vault, and they're gonna capture Eobard because they're smarter than the speedster.
Yeah. Well, so apparently 2 guys shooting up a bank is not a time aberration. Like, that's not a blip on Gideon's. I've just detected a timer.
None of this is. Yeah, I mean, they killed a biker, and that was a time aberration. But killing cops and gangsters isn't. So clearly, time aberrations only happen when they help the story. Now,
I did kind of like when Dark and Malcolm are like, wait, oh right, we're not pathetic. Let's stand up to Eobard. That was essentially that whole scene.
Well, yeah, but of course, in that whole scene, what you have is so they lure Eobard into the safe, and then they lock the door.
Which for some reason he couldn't vibrate out of.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I guess speedsters don't have that power anymore. And not even can't vibrate out of, but isn't he like a time traveler? Couldn't he because we never really see him
Well, you got to run to get up the speed to time travel.
He can run in that room.
Well, again, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, he could run in that room and time travel, because we never. It's like anytime we've seen him time travel, he just disappears, And yeah, maybe he's putting distance there, but it just seems like if this time travel thing makes any sense, where he runs isn't as important as how he runs, And so, and quite frankly, if these two get torn to atoms as he's running around in here to travel through time, that's really not that big of a concern to him. But we find out that this is where we get the answer that, of course, because he is himself an anomaly, the only way that he can survive is that he has to keep ahead of this thing. Which actually gives you why he grabbed these two, because these were the 2 people that he could grab right at that time.
I knew something was up ever since he had Vixen by the throat and ran. I'm like, obviously he's running from something.
Yeah. So, but then again, so they all agree that, so the 2 guys are like, you think you're the first speedster there's a great, Warren Ellis Twilight Zone called Crazy as a Soup Sandwich. Which basically has as the premise, this demon is muscling in on this mobster's territory, and then the mobster basically defeats the demon, and he makes the point, what, you think you're the first, demon to come up into my territory, try and get a piece of my action? And then of course you find out at the end that the mobster is actually a demon as well. He's just an elder demon. And it's like, oh, okay, that all makes sense, how he knew everything and yada, yada, yada. This one, it's just, these two guys happen to, have dealt with speedsters in the past, and now they're going to deal with this one now. Sure, why not? But they agree but Eobard agrees to make them full partners because, a villain's word is his bond, and once we get out of this mess, I am absolutely going to honor all of my obligations to you. I promise. Pinky swear. Spit on my hand and everything. And then they basically trap the Black Racer using the similar system that they trapped this guy with. And again, the Black Racer apparently forgets that he can travel through time and vibrate his molecules and, do all the things that some kind of a space speed god might be able to do. And so they're able to escape the Black Racer once again. And now they're all going to work together to defeat the heroes. And of course, now they have their new assistant in defeating our legends, Rip Hunter.
So in my opinion, it looks like this monster is Zoom, because he looks just like the way Zoom did when he got taken by the time race. My best guess is when because Zoom's kind of was taken out of time. Well, he was messing with time until he got taken by the race. I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to take Eobard's life source, maybe try to switch places with him or something like that.
Yeah, who knows?
Because the time race look like flashes. They look like dark flashes, so that's got to be something.
Oh yeah, I mean it's something. It's zombie Flash. It's dead Flash. It's
Well, it's Zoom. I think this guy's Zoom. Now, I just gotta say this. I know his costume's different, but that's still my theory. Now, I gotta say this has got to be one of the worst effects I have ever seen.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, just tell me why they couldn't have done this with a guy with prosthetics on his face.
Because it costs more?
There is no way. Considering I can get better makeup by going over to my sister's house, who used to work at Spooky World.
Well, what I'm going to say is this is basically one of the time rates that they had used previously. So they already had it in the system.
No, they never had an effect like this in the system. The time race looked different than that.
I don't know. I think
they had to make that. Time race didn't have. They looked like flashes, but not like that. But
they added some things, but I'm saying that the basic model framework was already established. They weren't building it from scratch. They built it from what already existed from the time race.
It's too different of a look for me to go with that. It just it was so, oh god, when he roars at the camera, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, because it's a thing. Yeah, I mean, I got no defense of it. I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for me to say.
Okay, but yeah, I think there was no reason they couldn't have done that with prosthetics. So anyways, now back on the waiver, I do like how Mick just essentially says, hey, by the way, you're an aberration. No, I kind of like it because it's like, I'm glad he did that because otherwise we'd have gotten 3 more episodes of Stein trying to tell her.
Well, yeah. Of course, I also like Stein removing the thing from, oh no, that was last episode, removing the part from his brain, so he basically says fake champagne for a fake person. They're like, what? What do you mean she's fake? And yeah, it works. Honestly, I'm not committed to the whole idea as to why these aberrations are like a human being who didn't exist now does is specifically a problem. Cause not for nothing, if these aberrations are so bad, shouldn't one of these crazy time wraiths be chasing after them, I mean,
they tried to imply in this episode that time wraiths only go after speedsters, which I guess could be true. Although here's the thing. This current season of Flash is all about messing with the future, is changing the future.
Yeah.
Which goes against it makes no sense.
I just liked it when the Flash just ran fast. I think they went to the time travel well too early and they made it too easy. And the whole vibe thing where it's like, well, we can just jump through dimensions now, and now you've got Gypsy there, and it's like,
that was just an excuse for crossovers.
Well, yeah, now, I know it's just an excuse for crossover, but what it is they made it too easy. They made it, and it's sort of like the problem with Firestorm on the team. It's like you created this system where you could very easily access way more power than you have on your standard team, and now we have to figure out reasons why we don't use it. You know, it's like, oh, well, we could always go get freaking Supergirl, get a Kryptonian from the next world. Heck, we could get Superman. We can actually go to freaking Gotham universe and get an actual Batman if we want one, you know? It's like there's all these things they have access to now, but they just choose not to access them, but they don't have a reason why. You know, they don't have a reason why they're not creating a Justice League Incarnate. If you read the Superman comics right now, where you find that there is this sort of pan-dimensional Justice League of like all the best Supermen and the best Flashes and the best Wonder Women of all the universes that are now teamed up, you know, and that they protect the multiverse. And they don't really have a reason why they're not making that, because it seems like, okay, there are threats in our universe, and then there's this multiversal threat that we know about, and why are we not working to safeguard everyone, you know? And I guess there might be reasons why. Maybe they're just lazy, but you know, when your answer is, oh, we're lazy and don't really want to do that, that doesn't make for very heroic characters. That's all I'm saying.
So I find it interesting the scene when, like, because Stein keeps talking about the science of her being an aberration. He doesn't understand. I'm like that we address this. They said, oh, of course, Lily's an aberration, but no one ever thought about what it'd be like for her to find out. Imagine I didn't exist before. That's great to know.
Well, I mean, if you really think about, I mean, it depends on, see, here's the thing, and this is another thing. They don't have their physics down on this show. And this is like, to me, the worst part of it. It's like they don't. Here's what I'm going to say. You know, for anything you want to complain about something like Back to the Future or any other thing, the exact physics of Back to the Future is consistent throughout every installment of it. Exactly how long, you know, how time takes, how time resets, what it affects first, what it affects last, how things play out as the universe changes is very codified and real. Here it is, you know, first off, one small thing can change the universe, but major things don't have any effect. You know, the way they approach it is so haphazard that it makes you realize that they really just didn't think it through. No one really stopped to say, let's have a Bible of the physics on this show.
There can't be a show Bible for this.
Well, I'm sure there is. I just don't think anyone bothered to deal with the physics of it. They just said, it's time travel, who cares?
Right. Now they do figure out that, because Stein has met Eobard, so he has memories of him. So I wonder if we'll get Eddie back once they get the Sphere of Destiny. But, so Stein's like, oh, there is a speedster that doesn't exactly exist. And he tells him the story. You gotta love when even the character's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, like we said, none of it does. You know, I
did like the Lily and Stein scene. That is one thing about this episode I did enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Well, honestly, you know, as much as we complain about this show, I still enjoy it. You know, I still enjoy to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, and I love Barrowman's character. I do. I love Barrowman. And honestly,
you just love Barrowman.
You know, honestly, I like villains in general. These aren't the best villains, but the fact that they are villains, I mean, I still like Dominic. Dominic Purcell's still my favorite character. Mick Rory is still my favorite character on the show. And honestly, I really wish they would do more with him. I really wish they would explore more of that plot line. Because I do think that is to me, you know, here's what I'm going to tell you right now. This show would be a lot better if it was the Legion of Doom. If Hunter had recruited all supervillains with the promise, because he needed a Suicide Squad. You know, he needed bad guys to go do bad things to the universe who weren't going to be worrying every 5 minutes about what the effects of the time stream was, because he had basically become a time criminal at the start of it. So it would have made a lot more sense if they were all villains, you know? And grabbing heroes and villains from the time stream, you know, you immediately have this idea, well, we have to fight for some sort of nobility and this like that. And it's always a better story to have bad guys come to nobility than to just have it be, you know, heroes saying, well, we've got to do what's right, you know. At least that's my take on it. I don't know.
And of course, we talk about stuff that Lily doesn't know her father's firestorm, apparently.
Yeah, but again, like I said, that may be something that he hasn't revealed to her. I mean, superheroes have secret identities all the time. I mean, depending on the day of the week, Iris doesn't know who the Flash is,
But also,
I mean, everyone knows who Ollie is, of course, because that's because he's constantly shit-telling people.
I wonder if we're going to get a scene where Stein tells Clarissa the fact that they didn't have a daughter when he first went on the... I just think it's weird that she knows about the legend. She knew about the legends, but she didn't know about anything else.
Yeah, very little of it makes no.
It doesn't make any
at
sense.
A certain point, you got to say, "Oh, okay."
So for this episode was all right. I mean, like I said, the effect was just terrible.
Like every episode, just don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, well, I have to. I podcast for it. That's the point.
Then here's what I'm going to say: you're either going to think about it hard enough to make it make sense in your headcanon, or you're going to think about it just hard enough to annoy yourself. And that just is going to give you ulcers, man. That's what I'm telling you. You either have to not think about it or think about it just a little bit harder. But right now you're in that middle spot where everything's just annoying you, and you gotta either embrace the chaos.
That's just the curse of being a podcaster.
I'm podcasting here too. I'm not nearly as negative as you are right now. That's all I'm saying. I thought this as a part like I did like it, and I liked the scenes with Lily and Stein, and there was a few, but for the most part, they haven't. For a while, I was hopeful about the season, but they have not found their way yet. I wish they would just get. My theory is what they're doing is Rip is he's intentionally making Rip cause time aberrations to try to trap the team, but we'll see where that goes. To me, this is another forgettable episode, so I don't have a great rating of it. So why don't we take ourselves out, Charlie? Sounds good to me. Well, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Legends of Tomorrow, which I do try to do. You can follow me on the Twitters at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the two E's in the middle for quality. Of course, write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our Maz and Paz once did, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com.
And of course, you can find me always on Facebook and on Twitter. Find me on Twitter, Instrument Insanity. And, this show's just beat me down, so let's just take ourselves out, because I gotta go, because the bad CGI monster is coming after me. Listen to it roar. This is the Legends Podcast.